Hi guys, just wanted to review the weekend of rugby. So, I feel like the tash is really good for analytical. um, Mr. and you were talking about getting my, holding up there. I'm just going to make a few videos where I'm basically out and about discussing, then I'll do a few more where I'm sitting down. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I think this one's going to be out and about so I can ramble both physically and intellectually. My hair is very thick, so like it just, whenever I dry it in a particular way, it just sits there. It's mad looking. Thinking of shaving the head again and getting rid of this so my brother doesn't keep calling me a nonce. Oh, might just grow the beard back, actually, and join up with it. Flies are landing on me all over the place. Do you ever get those kamikaze flies? Yeah, so not a good weekend for the Irish provinces apart from Leinster. Really not good. There's actually been an interesting conversation about whether Leinster are better than Ireland, and I mean it's a fair question, you know, because you think to yourself, Leinster look more polished and put together than Ireland do, and it's definitely a fair point, because like, you look at just how much they've breezed past two good sides, you would say. Like, I know Harlequins are 7th in the Gallagher Premiership, but Glasgow are only 2nd in the URC behind Leinster, and Leinster have a comfortable enough lead at the top, which is why they were able to rest Geordie Barrett, Snyman. Any South Africans, tell me how to pronounce that. I know his real name is Rudolf Gerhard Snyman. You hear Afrikaners and it's yeah, and do I look a bit more Afrikaans with the moustache? I know you guys love to have your tashes. Respect. South Africans are good people. I get into heated arguments with them, but these are good guys. Love your rugby like I do, so I can appreciate that. And at the end of the day, it's all in good spirits. Munster fans must be livid with how good Snyman has been, by the way, because as everybody keeps saying, they got no value out of him, whereas Leinster are getting every bit of value. He's like an octopus. The way he gets his arms free, like him, and I know, look, it's what makes him great. I wouldn't be saying to him stop the offloading. What I'd be saying is just don't always feel like you have to get an offload away. And I understand it's tempting, and he's very good at it. But sometimes it's not on, and he tries it anyway, and then loses. But more often than not, it works out. So I'd say just kind of know when to hold him, know when to fold him. Good player. But to be fair, Leinster recruit well, they normally do. Like when they brought in Charlie Natai, he was brilliant. Rocky Elsom, brilliant. My favourite player. Shame what happened with him. Really sad to see. Isan Asewa, Felipe Contabomi. But Rabah Slimani, like, that was one that people didn't see coming, and Leinster obviously recruit well. Like, it's not just a fluke, because they all work out. And Geordie Barrett, wow, he's been impressive. I heard people saying, he's not really a great fullback. He's a world-class centre, but not a great fullback. And I'd say to you, like, what's a fullback supposed to do? Cover the pitch. And it looks like there's 5 of them playing every time. He shaved his tash as well, so there's going to be a lot of moustache references. I'm no Tom Selleck, I know. How do you get one like that? What's the secret? Longer lips. But like, Geordie Barrett does exactly what a good fullback does, even when he's playing at centre. Covers the whole pitch. I even said at half time you could give him man of the match because he was that good. Didn't need to do anything else, and yet he got like 4 turnovers. Try disallowed. He was brilliant. Some hit as well on Vailanu. Big Tonga number 8 for Glasgow. He's solid. He's just solid as a rock. Beast of a man. But like, it isn't good for competition with big massive hammerings like that. You know, beating Harlequins by over 60 points and then beating Glasgow by over 50. Foregone conclusions, but look, I mean, what are you going to say? Leinster, take it easy? No, fuck that. Question is now, can they go on and win the thing? Which they should. Really, they should. Like, they've been in great form. Glasgow are now slouches and let it look easy. Like, there's no, they call it Huey Pilotu. I think that's a good one. I like that. Sione Tui Pilotu and Hugh Jones. World class centre partnership, in fairness, but look, Leinster were just far better. You can say whatever excuse you want, just much better. Tommy O'Brien has been outstanding. Just a shout out to him. He's been class, and not just in the small games. Like, he had Makazoli Mapimpi in his pocket when Leinster played the Sharks. Very impressed. Munster going down to Bordeaux. They gave a good show of themselves, I feel like they did, but they missed far too many tackles. Damien Penaud was running rings around them. Maxime Luku had a very good game. He's really coming into his own. I've been impressed with him. Joran Malfana running some good lines. Quite a strong player. And Kazo, who got the big second row, who won man the match against Ulster. But dirty boy. An illegal shot on a Munster player. He was lucky to get away with it. Well, I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was any more than a yellow card, to be fair, but there was intent in it, you know. And just a shout out to Christoph Ridley. I thought he got that call for Connacht bang on. Vanoya and Bosi, who was a great player, but that's the problem you have. Like, I always cheer for the Pacific Island teams, and I always want them to win, but hard to have sympathy for them when they do stupid shit like that every game. That was dirty. You know, you can say what you want and defend them, but that was just a stupid moment, like a brain fart if ever you saw one. And he was doing well, you know. Imagine how much Racing could have won by. Connacht were good though, in fairness to them. They only lost by 3 points to a side with a much bigger budget than them. And Owen Farrell again has copped a bit more abuse. People saying, you know, that he was a waste of money, and like, a bit harsh, you know. He's been injured, you know. It's not as if he's been fully fit since he's been there. He's gotten injuries, so it's hard to go he's been a flop, you know. People are very quick to judge. I think you have to like Owen Farrell. Yeah, he gets away with a bit. Sometimes. I don't think he's ever going to learn to tackle lower. I think we may as well give up on that. But seems like a likeable guy. I think he hates James Haskell. I'm with Owen Farrell on that one. I used to despise him, and I thought, maybe he's alright, but then, nah. I'm back to my old nub. Yeah, it was see, I saw the whole Leinster game, and I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. People are talking a lot about the battle in the back row. And as an Irishman, I have to say, I think Tom Curry has been better than Josh van der Fleer, if I'm being non-biased. He still makes my team. Ben Earl, bench. Definitely bench. Caelan Doris now. I said not a foregone conclusion. If Jack Conan can stay fit, then maybe he gets in. Like, for me, the standout back rowers for the home nations have been Jack Morgan, who, despite being in a very poor Welsh side, still looks great, you know. He's tackling like there's no tomorrow, getting turnovers, and against a really good Australian attack, you need someone who's going to make tackles, and that's exactly what he gives you. Tom Curry will do everything. Nah, he's had that new hip has turned him into the Terminator. Ben Earl misses too many tackles for me, but very explosive in attack, so I would have him on the bench. I think Caelan Doris will be captain. Very good player, yeah, but I do think he's a little overrated. I've said it before, you know, and he makes stupid errors. Very stupid for a player he is very good. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I think people make out like he's flawless and he's not. He has an error in him in every game. It's just that the Glasgow game, it didn't really cost him. We'll give him credit though, he got fucking levelled by the Glasgow second row, and then he gets straight back up and the second row goes down. Samuel was your man, his second name. Big hit, but Doris is back up. It was impressive. It was like Richard Hibbard before when there was a head collision and Hibbard got floored, but he got straight back up. Credit where it's due. Hardy man that Hibbard was, the Welsh hooker. Yeah, I don't think it's fair, but actually, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd be in more agreement with the England fans saying Josh van der Fleer didn't have a great Six Nations. If you're basing it off that, it's Tom Curry every day. And he's been good for sale. Come on, Alf, good boy. Like losing to Toulouse, in Toulouse is hardly a massive thing, you know what I mean? More flies going into my fucking eyes. They just, you know, the fruit flies, they go straight at your eyes. Anyway, we got that, lad. What is it though with the Gallagher Premiership? The team's not performing well. Like Glasgow comfortably beat Leicester. Sale did alright, but then were blown away. Harlequins were destroyed by Leinster. I mean, don't need to go into that too much. Northampton are the last hopeful for them. Henry Pollock looks in good form. Not a big fan of that cringy celebration though. You know, the little touchdown and basketball throw. But a very good player nonetheless. Yeah. I wouldn't pick him off of Van der Fleer though. Like if you're basing it off URC and Premiership, and then also of course I'd be basing it more off Champions Cup. Van der Fleer needs to step up in the big occasion. I think they'll be playing Northampton. That's not going to be an easy game. So yeah, we'll see. I think Leinster actually beat Northampton in a semi-final last Champions Cup. Then they got Toulouse in the final. Will it be exactly the same this year? Who knows? Bordeaux aren't going to be easy, not at all. And I don't think it's good enough for Leinster just to make a final. I think they have to win it. I think that's a fair statement, you know, like Ireland not winning 3 Six Nations in a row when they should have done. Leinster bottling a couple of Champions Cup games now. It's now or never, pretty much, you know. It's in Cardiff as well, so I mean they've got to get past Northampton first. I think it's Northampton anyway, because everybody was saying Toulouse are going to be playing against Bordeaux. So I think it will be Northampton, who they look strong, yeah, but I think people are overestimating how good the Aviva, keep calling it the Aviva Premiership, Gallagher Premiership, Gallagher as they call it, Gallagher. Nah, I think Leinster will be too strong for Northampton. Though Northampton came back and Leinster seemed to think they had the game wrapped up, and they certainly didn't. So don't take them lightly, but can't be thinking ahead to the final either. You know, you got to focus on the task at hand. But I would argue that given how easily Leinster have hammered Harlequins and they destroyed them, and also destroyed Glasgow, I would say like they didn't give Glasgow a second, so that's more argument that they are good enough to beat anyone that's put in front of them. We're not saying that they're a good team. In fact, the opposite, you know. That's the whole point. If you thought they were punching well above their weight, you'd say, oh, fair play to them, you know. But we think we all know that they're good enough to beat anyone. They just don't do it because there's something missing. Whether it's the mindset or whatever. Something's lacking. Me and my brother were looking at that final last year against Toulouse and thought any minute now Leinster will push on, and they didn't. They were a better team, but they didn't take their chances. Toulouse did, and that's knockout rugby. You know, I sound like a commentator there. That's knockout rugby, but it is. And Ireland don't do well in knockout rugby, as we've proven, especially in World Cups. Won't even go there. But it is now or never. It really is. You know. And when you score over 100 points in 2 games and don't concede any, you're kind of like, okay, you're good enough to beat anyone. Now put your money where your mouth is, you know. And they've got to do it. You know, they have to. Because if they don't, fans are going to get sick of it. I think it's not cheap to go and see them. It's quite expensive actually, so they've got to do better, and we need to start demanding that they do better. You know, it's not good enough just to make a final. Now you got to win it. It's not good to see the other provinces do so poorly. Like Leinster's defence have kept 2 decent attacking sides to 0. Best form of defence is attack. If you've got the ball, then teams can't score against you, I suppose. Yeah, Munster were just outplayed for the majority of the game. They were manhandled, you know, they missed far too many tackles. And players like John Hodnett, who was always reliable, missing tackles. It's not just, you know, the usual suspects. Nah. They did alright, but I just felt like they should have given more. It was a great win against La Rochelle. Such a shame they couldn't push on. But they definitely had a tougher task than Leinster did. That is for sure. Connacht were so unfortunate. They let that one slip. That's why I talk about game management, and that's why I made those videos. To lose that game when they were in control, like, and against Ospreys, it was actually the exact same score, wasn't it? 43-40. That's the scoreline they love. Bernard Jackman, who was a good pundit, and I've met him, lovely fella, he said that it's unforgivable to score 40 points and not win away from home. So I think it's even more unforgivable when you score 40 points at home and you don't win. Attack is great, but their defence is shocking. Really is. And that's the story of the Irish provinces. But Leinster look in great form, and that, I think that only adds to the argument that they need to actually go and win the Champions Cup now. Definitely good enough to do it, but whether they've got the bottle, we'll see. Alright.